G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here once again casting some EGC Elite Classic. It's getting to the pointy end of the playoffs. I'm hoping you guys are going to be enjoying this content as well as EGC TV tonight. Anyway, let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning in on the west side of the map in the color orange, playing as the Chinese, we've got 3DB. And on the east side of the map, in the color green, playing as the English, opening with an early barracks, we've got Louis MT. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dry Arabia. It is a pleasure to have your company, and have a look how aggressive this scout is from Louis. Immediately running towards his opponent's base, spots the forward gold. This is not going to be an easy start here for B, because Louis not only has that very open direction to run to his opponent's base, no wood lines blocking his way, he's got that front gold. But I think one thing to note, though, is B has spotted the scout out here, and he will also spot the incoming men-at-arms as well. So he knows that this is not going to be easy, and naturally moves villagers over onto the gold. So no real surprises here early on for B. Fortunately, he does the right thing and brought that scout out very quickly. Have a look at the difference we've got between sheep for these two players. Now, we can get a little bit of split screen in here, but I don't think there's too much of a point just yet, just because the main focus for me is going to be these men-at-arms. So we can, how about I give you a little bit of picture-in-picture so you can see that, well, Louis still got absolutely no sheep behind him. This is the consequence of going for a very pointy, early, what's the word? You know, moving your scout in one single direction and not going for those sheep. But he's got to be careful not to lose a villager. 10 health left on that bad boy. Definitely pushing it to the limits there. He's got plenty of gold in the bank. He needs to make sure he's got enough to age up as well as enough for an Imperial official, which he does by 5 gold. So B's done a really, really good job here at the early stage of the game, just to make sure that his opponent is not... Is not taking all of those things off him. But you know what? We mentioned split screen a little bit earlier. Let's do it. Let's take a look and see exactly how these two guys are going. Oh, that's awkward, isn't it? Oh, that is so damn awkward. So what happened here was Louis, his scout was spotted out by B. So B knew exactly where the scout was and where the scout was going. So naturally it meant that he could go into the places where Louis wasn't. But Louis didn't know where B's scout was. And this is something that happens quite often with China. And this is part of the reason why China can be very, very good in the early game. Because what's actually happening here, just to explain it, is you've got a radius around your scout where you can see. But that radius is different for other civilizations. The Chinese, so if we take a look here, the English scout is significantly, or has a significantly lower radius on line of sight compared to the Chinese scout, and that is because of the Tang dynasty. The Tang dynasty provides an increase bonus to line of sight for scouts. So you move into the Song dynasty at about 6 minutes, 5 minutes, somewhere around that region, and you lose that bonus, but for the first 5 minutes, you do have the advantage if you're paying attention. And it's very clear that B was paying attention, so he'll start off with some really nice sheep advantage here. A little bit of a delay on the age up, which is naturally what you expect when men-at-arms come through. But I think the fact that he scouted this and was able to spot out the enemy scout as well, this has worked out really well for B. Age up's now coming through. This will be spotted out by Louis, and Louis now going to fall back. I'm curious to see exactly how B follows this up. He doesn't have to go into units, but I think this is probably the best response for him to move into early units. He could move into a combination of horsemen just to make sure that he can take stone if he wants to go for it, or take his gold again. And I think just a couple of archers as well, because he knows the barracks is already out, so spears are going to be on the table here as well. But tonight, I want to tell you, or this morning, wherever you are in the world, I want to tell you about EGC TV's Elite Classic. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already checked it out, it'll be in about, from the time that this gets posted, about 15 hours after. So if you don't know when that is, it's 15 GMT. So I guess I'm going to be posting at 0 GMT, I guess. But it's 15 GMT, Saturday and Sunday. Of course, today is Sunday. So it's only going to be that. There's also next weekend as well. But I want you guys to come along because it is going to be amazing content. We've seen heaps of good games coming out of this event. We most recently saw Beastie play up against Averley on the Bridges map, one of the best games I have ever seen in my life. And interestingly, it's the same matchup as the one that we're seeing today. This is a notoriously good matchup just because of how balanced these civilizations are. And it looks like we will be seeing that early stable going to be coming down here for B. Is he going to be moving into that Song dynasty as well? When it comes to his placement for the Barbican, there's a pretty good spot up here where you've got access to the deer, so you can throw this Barbican. It's in the front of the base as well, and then you can use the Barbican to, you can try and push the deer in from that top side with the scout. I think that's probably a good spot. Alternatively, he can look for the bottom side. There's berries down here if he wants to go for that. So we'll have to see exactly how he looks to play it. But I think with the amount of vills he's got on gold here, he could also be looking at going for a castle age. Because have a look at this. He's got 4 imperial officials out. He's got so many sheep, which is always a really good indicator of someone who can go castle age. Because that's one of the big things about the Chinese is just because you want to go castle age doesn't always mean you can, because you might not have access to food. Because even if you get there, you still need to make units. But we'll check in now with Louis MT as the age up has come through. Not really making units. We see spears coming out. Horseman going to force him off gold. Only 2 vills on gold as well, indicating he's probably just going to be focusing on upgrades. Trying to pick up those double broadaxe horticulture upgrades. Not going to happen. Men at arms just chilling out on the bottom side for the moment. Not going to be able to find too much down there. But now beginning to move out. He's got the single spearman. And this is where I was talking about, just getting an archer out here as well is so damn annoying, because once the archer comes out, then your opponent's going to make longbows to deal with it. But then, now you're forcing them into a micro battle and they're fighting over the gold. And you can always try and pick off a villager or two. So we'll have to see exactly how Louis goes about the defense. Keep in mind, he is back over towards this opponent's base, and he's trying to get some information, I think, about the stone. I think that's what he wants to know, because he wants to know whether he should be doing the same thing, or what B is going to be up to, whether he's going to be going castle age, whether he's going to be going for that second TC. And he spots the stone. He sees the archery range, so that gives him a bit of an indication. All right, it's going to be archers coming out soon. Only the 2 villagers on gold as well, which at this stage just indicates it's probably going to be a feudal play. But have a look at the amount of horsemen that are in here. He's going to try and squeeze them in here. They do get caught out of position. Looks like one of them will go down. And now the village is going to get involved as well. Barbican towards the front side of the base. It's just kind of chilling out here. He's got to be careful not to lose it. What happened here that B is not paying attention? There we go. He works it out. So losing out that 1 horseman, manages to get away with 4 of them. And Barbican's just going to be placed defensively, making sure he's got his gold as well as his stone. Definitely a smart call. You can always go out a little bit further, as I mentioned out here, but then you do potentially expose yourself to losing that gold. You might have to move up to your other one. But now it looks like Louis will be losing position on this scout. And that is not a good thing for him, because he needs to know what his opponent's up to. How many archers are going to be coming out here? Are we talking about 5 archers? Are we talking about 50 archers? These are really important factors that he needs to know. So that scout does manage to stay alive, be not able to deny it completely. And Louis just chilling out as more units continue to make their way through. He's going to move down slightly. He will spot out the archers here. Keep in mind he's got the stealth forest as well. B's got no idea. You're going to hear that whistle from the scout, but fortunately, B does not hear that. It's only Louis that hears that whistle. Just sits towards that top side. There he was. I thought he was still in the stealth forest. Not going to be the case. Plenty of units now starting to come out early on in this game. And B, have a look how many vills he's got on that gold. Still 5 villagers on gold, so making his way towards that castle age. Plenty of units out. It's interesting to see the dynamic shift between these 2 civilizations in this matchup. So often it was always the English that were the aggressors, but now the Chinese feel like they've found a nice little position, especially with the recent buff to the Imperial Academy. It just feels really good. I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to the buff to the Barbican of the Sun, where you can drop taxes off at that. That is going to be amazing. I can't wait for that. It seems like a small buff, but it's such a nice quality of life improvement, because one of the big things with the Chinese is you just don't have anywhere to pick up your taxes, or to drop off your taxes. So that'll be very, very nice, especially in the late game as well, because you normally put that Barbican a little bit further away, but now pushing through. Looks like the villager will survive. Louis not yet losing 1. I take it back. He's lost 1 somewhere in here. There it goes, right down there. And the numbers are still building here for Louis, and this is what I was talking about, where Louis doesn't really know how many units he should be making. He sees the 5 archers coming out, but he's not sure. Should I keep making archers, or should I keep making longbows? We can see he's up to 10 longbows now, so he's pretty much pumping into this. Only the 3 villagers on gold. Men-at-arms still down towards the south, just doing its thing. Spear and longbows will clean up the horsemen at the back, but towards that center location, the longbows have managed to find the archers, but the age-ups come through. It's going to be the astronomical clock tower that comes in here for B, back in the base. So he's found the age-up. Now, at this stage of the game, he's got 2 options. He can go into Lancers, he can go into Palace Guards, and I guess technically he's got a 3rd option, which is he can go into a Nest of B. So it looks like it's going to be Lancers, though. Lancers going to be coming through, and he's got supervision out as well, which means there's going to be a lot of Lancers on the field very, very quickly. I expect that we're probably going to see a monastery thrown down shortly as well. Keep in mind, he is on one base playing that Song Dynasty, so he's going to slowly increase on that villager count as well. We can see he's already up by 6 villagers. Keep in mind, he did take out 1 from his opponent, but he is essentially, he is booming right now. I think so it'll work out every minute, 3 villagers for Louis, 4 villagers for B. So after 10 minutes, there'll be a 10 villager difference. Have a look at the amount of vills that are out on gold here. Definitely. Where's that monastery? No, it's a market. Why is he making a market? This, to me, a market just doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense at all. Just because you are so good at Age of Empires, you don't need to put a market down to macro for a market or to buy and sell resources, right? Because if you want more food, you just put more vills on food. I think this is a mistake. I genuinely think this is unintentional. I'm curious to see if he did use it. He purchased wood. He bought wood? Or did he sell wood? No, he's bought wood. He's bought 2 lots of wood. Why has he bought wood for? Why not just move vills? Was it really that urgent? I don't know, man. I always find it so strange when people drop the market just because of the inefficiency of it. Like, to me, it's just like, just get a few more vills on wood, or just be better. just put your vills on wood earlier. Oh, that's all right. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'll let him off for now. I'm still going to give him a macro police citation though. A market before the 12 minutes if you're not doing trades. That is questionable. But now have a look at this. Louis getting stuck in feudal age, going up against these veteran archers and lancers. The veteran archer is going to be trying to pick off the spears. Reinforcements also going to be focused down. He's able to pick them off one by one. We can see he's doing a decent job, and now those lancers just going to be turning around and fighting mono in mono. Horsemen come straight to the back, which is definitely the right call here. Keep in mind the horsemen do very well up against the longbows, but not so well against the spears, whereas the lancers do pretty well against everything, but they just die slightly faster. But overall, Louis manages to hold a pretty decent battle there, so he's going to be pretty happy with this, walking away with a decent presence on the field. This will buy him time to get up to Castle Age behind this and keep himself in the game. But B, he does have the advantage when it comes to Castle Age. I expected that was going to be a monastery. Where is the monastery? There's the monastery. Probably about the right timing, I guess. Now starting to come through. A lot of wood in the bank. We'll be going for a second TC as well. So really nice timing that's coming out from here. But meanwhile, towards that front, the Lancers have actually managed to crack through this defense by the looks of it. Beautiful control here as well. 2 health left on that Lancer. He's got +2 ranged armor in play, which means that these longbows are doing 1 damage a pop. The only thing he's taking damage from right now are those hardened spearmen, unless you want to consider the 1 damage from these longbows as damage. It's not really. We just saw this Lancer escape with 9 health. It took 7 ranged shots, and it lost... What is going on right now? That's 3 times we've actually seen him drop a building and then not complete it. And I feel like it was unintentional. Second TC coming down on the wood line. Keep in mind, he knows his opponent is going to be thinking about castle very soon, so he wants to keep that villager count building. And there's the Castle Age now coming through. It's going to be the King's Palace towards this front side. When it comes to eco upgrades, both players have picked up all the tier 1 upgrades with the exception of Specialized Pick, which is now just coming through for Louis. So the economies are pretty in focus. Louis now will check in with his economy as his farming is starting to take over. Have a look at this. He's got plenty of farms back there. Beautiful walls that have come up on either side. Fearful of those lancers looking to strike in on the back line. Now going to be losing this gold. And this could be really tough. You know, one of the things to remember is that when it comes to Dry Arabia, you've typically got 1 gold that spawns in your base, and then you've got a secondary gold which spawns close to your base, but not quite in your base, and then you've got a 3rd gold which spawns even further away. The problem that Louis got right now is that his 1st gold spawned in the same direction as his 2nd gold, which spawned in the same direction as his 3rd gold. So this 1st gold's here. The 2nd gold, you know, we don't see it at the back. We don't see it at the top. We don't see it out to the left. It's right here. And that represents a massive issue. Because now Louis could potentially lose gold for a very long time. Combine that with the fact that B is actively picking up relics, going for his opponent's closest relic first. There is a chance that Louis gets stuck in the Castle Age with no access to gold, depending on how B looks to play this. He's got a couple of options as to the follow-up he could go for here. He could look to throw down a keep, which would just pretty much be game-ending if he managed to get this keep down. I would look for a keep, add in some lancers, and then you could probably even just start to trap down buildings if you really wanted to go for it, because the English response is going to be so difficult because there's not going to be any gold. So, you know, he can make Springalds, he can make trebuchets, but he's going to run out eventually. I guess you could probably look at something like Rams. Scout's in a decent spot here. I'm not sure whether he spotted out that second TC just yet, but B is going to continue to climb on that villager count. Meanwhile, the farm transition is happening. It is official. The farm transition is in. B is beginning to move it over, which is definitely the right call. You always want to get a nice little head start on the farms. Anytime you can afford to throw those farms down, it really helps out in the long run, because it just means that your food is going to last a little bit longer. These villagers out on food are going to be able to stay there a little bit longer, because instead of, you know, 4 villagers that would have been out there on the berries with them, they're now over on farm. So it means that that food lasts slightly longer. All right, men-at-arms have now been upgraded to Castle Age. Upgrades are pretty decent here for Louis. We see armor cladding now coming through. Outpost on the front. Springwood in placement, looking to get that re-wall in. Sends out the 3 villagers for it. Definitely the right call. I don't even think B's going to realize until it's too late. The Vills will get this up. Crossbows as well on the field. And now that wall, it's actually not complete, but it's enough for him to just kind of sit here. These longbows should be focusing down the archers. Crossbows should be looking to try and hit those enemy lancers. That's exactly what he's looking to do right now. So you can see he's still got plenty of units here, though. How many crossbows are we talking? Yeah, 9 crossbow. Am I saying crossbow? Crossbro. I feel like I'm saying crossbros. I need to probably stop that. We're not watching Fitzbro here. We're watching Louis. Anyway, towards the base, Louis with plenty, or rather, B with plenty of vills on gold. Have a look at this, supervising as well. No +2 just yet. +2. No acid distillation just yet. Now Sacred Site's going to start coming in. He's got 4 relics in the bag. 5th and final relic is just down to the south of his secondary town center. Meanwhile, towards that top side, Louis realized, hold on, I got to be careful of my gold here. It's not the prettiest of situations. Does B know about the gold? He knows about the gold. He's just not got any units in that area. And I feel like gold control. Oh, Men-at-Arms finally returns. This guy from the very beginning of the game returns. He's going to force back a couple of units here, but expect just maybe a Lancer to come down and deal with this. He's got plenty of them here. So that shouldn't be too much of an issue, but still putting pressure on the front. This entire game, it has just been China on the offensive. I mean, with the exception of the very first couple of minutes and a little bit of a follow-up, but now we've got that nest of bees online as well. So going to get some good use out of that astronomical clock tower. Continuing to kite away. B now looking to thin out these spearman numbers before the lancers engage. Keep in mind the crossbows on the back will serve as a potential counter to that. As long as the nest of bees don't open it up down the middle, needs to make sure he covers. The men-at-arms could very easily just come around here, and that's exactly what they're going to look to do. Towards the top side, beautiful splits now coming through as well from Louis, making sure that nest of bees damage is going to be as mitigated as possible. Nest of bees will go down. Coverage from B, not the best. Ideally, we want to make sure everything sits in on top of it, but at the end of the day, he's lost out all of his archers anyway, so I think that he probably would have lost the B. Yeah, overall, once again, a very decent hold here from Louis. He's got just enough units. Now, all 3 sacred sites have actually been taken by B. Now, keep in mind, he's not going for a sacred victory here. He's just looking to pick up that income. So don't really treat this as a genuine, bona fide sacred site victory attempt. That is, yeah, it's a little bit different. Spearman's up here, just chilling for the moment. You could also just see, you know, single spearmans coming down here. Single spearmans coming down here. A single spearman coming down here. There you go. Relic, 5th relic is still here. Farm transition well and truly underway for B as he continues to add more in. Doesn't really have much food back here. Maybe a berry patch or 2. What do we got? Yeah, 8 berries over here on the left-hand side. A little bit of the remnants on the deer. Keep in mind that he's got lots of vills out here, so it's easy to add, or it's easy to keep that Imperial official there with them. And then you've got the boar on the top side. But the wall's going to start coming up. Louis looking to secure the north. I would have thought he'd go for the south just because this is where the gold is, right? Like, it just kind of makes sense to expand down that way, but Louis is going to continue to wall up. Nesta B is going to look to try and take out a villager. He will lose one. The palace guards will make their way through. And now Louis on the run. More units towards that top side. He's going to need to find another way to deal with these Nesta Beasts because there's 2 of them out now. We'll need to throw down a siege workshop. Let's take a look and see whether we can spot it. Oh my god, he's gone for the quadruple stable. This is another way that you can counter the Nest of Bees. And this is actually a pretty smart move. Let me explain. So, when it comes to the Nest of Bees do pretty well against, you know, most units, okay? But one of the things is if you're going to counter them with Springolds and you kill all the Nest of Bees, you've just got a whole bunch of Springolds that aren't really doing anything. And it means that your opponent, if they make any more Nest of Bees, they're going to have trouble. But your Springolds don't really do too much. Whereas if you go for Horsemen, like we see Louis doing right now, once your Horsemen have finished cleaning up the Nest of Bees, well, they can start killing everything else. They can start killing the crossbows. I said it again, crossbows? Why am I saying bros? Maybe that's a reference to a song. Who knows? You guys remember the song? It's coming in. Crossbow. I picture it as guys that are in an office and they're just holding their arms up in a cross sign. That's the way I think about it. Nest of Bees still alive though. Spearman going to try and work it down. It will get off one final volley, taking out a crossbow with it. Now Palace Guards pretty much eliminated from this composition. Only men-at-arms out from Louis. We can see that it's very crossbow-centric. Crossbows coming out from both players here. Meanwhile, the villager count is well and truly in favor of B. He's up by about 23 villagers at this stage. Keep in mind, not only that, but he's also got 2 sacred sites, and of course, the cherry on top, it's going to be 5 relics. Just remember, he does have access to pagodas. As the Chinese, that could be really bad. That could be terrible. Now, another thing you might notice is my voice. It might be a little bit deeper. That is because I've just woken up. It's currently 11 a.m. I woke up this morning about 10 a.m., which is nice. Any morning you can get a sleep in as a parent is rare. We'll say that much. But fortunately, my wife, she took the morning shift today. I got myself a nice little sleep in. It is a Sunday after all. But now that Nest of Bees pushing through, the outpost not going to be coming up. More production going to get thrown down. These two very intent on staying it out in Castle Age and looking to fight it out as much as they can. Second Nest of Bees going to be rolling in here. This constant threat of Nest of Bees is really, really powerful. And this, to me, almost guarantees that you need to go Springolds. You can't just keep throwing in the Horsemen into the gauntlet and hoping that they do it. The Springold response in this situation will guarantee that these Nest of Bees cannot march any further. Meanwhile, Horsemen, able to pick up a couple of villagers, will also pick up an Imperial Official, which, in my opinion, you shouldn't be targeting because the Imperial Official can so easily be replaced at the Imperial Academy. So it's basically like not even killing anything. Because the thing to remember, when you kill a villager, you're slowing down that villager count for the rest of the game. When you kill an Imperial Official, you slow me down for 20 seconds. I'm just straight back up to it. But here we go. Looks like B now going to be working down some stone here. Could be thinking about going for a keep, but not going to be the case as these cavalry units are slowly but steadily working it down. Meanwhile, towards that west side, it looks like the scout has finally gone down at 22 minutes for Louis MT. To keep your scout alive for 22 minutes and have it doing work is impressive. All right. A lot of vills right now. Look, I love the way he's like pretty much halfway through this with just 41 vills just collecting. Look at the distance on these. They've decided to go to the TC instead. 3 Nest of Bees out. Springald in placement, firing down on those Nest of Bees. Actually, he's just gone out of the range right now. A couple horsemen moving around the side, looking to try and pick up some reinforcements. Going to run into some palace guards. Might need to think about moving to a different wood line. Oh, that's going to be tough, though. There's the Springald finally joining the field. I think Louis realized, you know what? We can go for horsemen, but we're going to need something to deal with these Nest of Bees. They are just relentless. Look at this. He's just rallying Nest of Bees across the field non-stop here. 4 Nest of Bees. Springald now going to start firing off. Needs to get in a position right here. Is going to be perfect for it. Nest of Bees continuing to work it down. Let's bring in that cinematic mode as the Nest of Bees look like fountains of youth. Unfortunately, the only youth that they're going to be giving is, well, the form of death to their opponent. Look at that, just raining down in every which way. Springald's firing off. You can see the emplacement from the tower together with the emplacement, or from, rather, the emplacement from the Springald itself. Manages to take out 3 Nest of Bees. 4th one still back here. 5th one has joined the cubit. Once again, Louis MT is going to hold. This is the non-stop Chinese push that keeps on coming, but Louis manages to keep that head above water. And this is so damn important because if any of these fights went the other way, if any of these fights went slightly in favor of B, then what that's going to mean is you have got yourself a real problem because all of a sudden he gets on your production, he gets on top of your villages, and now you can't produce units, and now you lose the game. That's essentially it. So the fact that Louis has managed to hold by the skin of his teeth every single time is a credit to him. And, well, you can see how hard he is fighting when it comes to this game. This, of course, is a tournament game, with the winner of this going to be going through to the not the semi-finals, the quarterfinals. Got to remember how many levels you've got to it. Because in Australia, we've got the grand final, and then we've got the finals, and then we've got the semi-finals, and then the quarterfinals. But I think in EGC, you've got the grand final, and then the semi-finals before it. And then before that, the quarterfinals, and then before that, I guess is it the round of 8? Is that what you call it? I guess it's probably what you call it. No, wait. That would be the quarterfinals. So are we in the quarterfinals right now? I think we're in the quarterfinals. Anyway, this is a quarterfinal game. If you want to see the semifinals, which will have the winner of this series, I don't know who wins this series, but the winner of this series will go through to the semifinals. Then make sure, jeez, finals are confusing. Make sure you check out EGC TV tonight, 15 GMT. All right, I'm not going to be casting, but I am going to be watching. So I want you to come along. And that's only on the condition. I'll only be watching if my baby wakes me up at about 4 a.m. because then I'll definitely throw it on while I'm feeding him a bottle and keeping him company. More Nesta Bees now coming out. And oh, it's Imperial Age, ladies and gentlemen. It is time. Yes, sirree, Bob. We've got ourselves a Berkshire coming down. And I do like this Berkshire because it is going to deny the gold out. There's only 4k left on it, and I'm sure he realizes that. But it also secures up the gold on the backside. Springold's get taken out off the back. It's going to be B teeing off towards it, and Springold moving up for a kiss here. Unfortunately, doesn't have the health on it. Will get outpowered by the clock tower Springold, and now that's going to leave the Nesta B on the back uncontested. Needs to get this Berkshire up. I'm almost tempted to say just throw away these units here and allow this Berkshire to get up, because once the Berkshire is up, you're going to be okay. Well, as long as you're able to defend through the other avenues, but it looks like he's going to be able to get that Berkshire up no matter what. Nesta B nowhere to be seen, and once the Berkshire's online, that's it. Release the machine gun. There she goes, baby. Now, let's keep an eye out for that one arrow. There it is! The one arrow that doesn't have incendiary arrows. There it is. Look, there's one arrow in here. Oh, that's so funny. The devs are fixing that in the next patch. Villagers now going to get taken out. Don't get caught by the one without incendiary arrows. Where is it? Oh, never mind. It's a garrison arrow, so it's only going to happen when there's villagers garrisoned inside. Dude, that's so funny. How did they... Who reported that? Like, who's paying that much attention to the arrows? And they're like, oh my god, my Berkshire doesn't have incendiary arrows on one of the garrison slots. I need to report this right away. Like, this is definitely the reason why I lost. Like, how did you realize? Who were you? Come forward, show yourself, and just know that you are appreciated. Like, wow. Whoa. Okay. Oh, my lord. Okay. This is an impressive farming economy. This is absolutely insane. Wow. How many have we got right here? Hold on a minute. Not going to happen there, B. Nice try. You see him right there. He went into another dimension. Louis. Jeez Louise. He's in a decent spot. Going to Imperial right then was a ballsy choice, especially because he wasn't maxed and he was getting attacked. But the Berkshire held. The Berkshire is a Giga Chad when it comes to this situation. Oh, I tell you what, that's so funny. Can we check the farm count here? What do we got? 77 farms. Holy. Wow. That's a lot. That is so many farms. It looks like we're going to have the Great Wall Gatehouse going to be coming up in the middle here. Is that what he's thinking about? I think that's what he's thinking about. Which makes sense because the Great Wall Gatehouse will not necessarily secure the sacred site, but it will deny the sacred site. I think it should have the range. On top of that, you will secure this gold vein. But the big thing for me is securing the larger gold veins, because at the moment, like, this is not secure, right? Like, this is anything but secure. Throwing down keeps on these makes a lot of sense. Exactly the same way that B has done it here. Interestingly, the position of the keep has kind of cost him this gold. I think if he'd gone in front, then he may have been able to deny the Berkshire. But then if you go too close to the front, then there's the possibility your opponent might just be like, I'm going to ram you. And that's not always a good thing. Towards the top side. Looks like this gold vein will become the next focus of B. Definitely the right call to get up here. We don't see any... Oh, I take it back. We see a couple of villagers, a handful of villagers that are making their way up here. Going to start repairing or building this stone wall. And the age up's now through for Louis. So both players going for their defensive age 4 landmarks. Really, really important landmarks to get down, especially in this matchup. You want to try and hold down, lock down regions of land. And that's exactly what we start to see now coming through. It looks like the next gold vein is going to be up here for Louis. This is his last truly safe gold vein. I would have loved to have seen him up towards this northern position, playing a little bit more aggressively for it, but it's not going to be the case. And those villagers, once again, going to get caught out in the center of the map. You can see just how much range is here. And I think Louis is going to be looking to try and secure up this central gold, and definitely would be the right call, moving all these vills over. And we want to see him look to pick up Cupulation. What other upgrades has he got on the way? It looks like we've got Network of Citadels. Has he picked up his Enclosures tech? Indeed he has. We can see it coming through. One of the interesting things that I've seen, or started seeing, is that when people are getting Imperial Age, if there's no, like, imminent fights or imminent pushes that are happening, people are prioritizing their eco techs over their military techs, which I think is very interesting, right? Like, you're going Imperial, obviously to get all the new technology, but at the same time, like, the focus is seeming to move towards the ecotechs. Like, we're seeing copulation come through quite early, crosscut saw as well. Obviously, precision crossbreeding has always been a really, really good tech. Yeah, it's interesting to see. Men-at-Arms, though, have been upgraded to elite. These guys are going to absolutely destroy, rip through the spearmen, not to mention the palace guards. There is no chance. Keep in mind the big difference between these two units is one has got movement speed, the other has got armor and health. Well, not armor and health, just armor, I think is probably the best way to say it. I think it works out to be an armor difference of 4. So you can see these men-at-arms have got 9 with a total of 10 armor compared to the palace guard, which has got 3 plus 3. Oh, no, it'll be a difference of 3. So it does start to add up. You know, when you think, okay, these guys aren't really doing much damage in the first place, and they've got 3 extra armor, it's like, okay, that does definitely make a fair bit of difference. But we can now see Louis will secure up the gold in the middle of the map. Still no copulation just yet. Really important to get, as long as you've got access to at least 3,000 gold, which he definitely does. It will pay itself off. He's got the resources in the bank for it, but now, horsemen moving through. The hand cannoneers are going to start taking them out. Look at that, just giving them the 1-2. Men-at-Arms in the north will manage to chase down those palace guards, and Louis, sitting close to 200 population here, is looking very good in the late game. That English late game is now going to be troublesome. But have a look at this. Oh, he's going for the double. He's got the Ming dynasty together with the Yuan dynasty, and this is so smart because going for the Spirit Way here is going to mean that his villagers have got the extra drop-off percentage for each dynasty is achieved. So he's going to get the Spirit Way, he unlocks the Grenadiers, gets the Ming dynasty, which is inferior to the second tier of dynasty, the Yuan dynasty. So he goes into the Ming dynasty first, just to get that quick extra 4% bonus, and unlock the Grenadier if he wants it, and then goes into the Yuan dynasty, securing that extra movement speed for the rest of the game for every single unit. You can see that these palace guards, where are they? We were talking about them a little bit earlier, the fact that they're so damn quick. Here they are, up to 1.58 movement speed compared to the 1.12 of the men-at-arms. So you basically got these units faster than cataphracts running around, just being very, very annoying. So it becomes imperative, and wonderfully done by Louis to secure this northern gold vein. So important, and to be honest, kind of surprising that they didn't actually go for it a little bit earlier, but we've got ourselves a little bit of a battle unfolding on the south gold. Never mind that north gold. Men-at-Arms here now going to have to fall back. The hand cannoneer mass is quite large. It looks like the crossbows are yet to be upgraded. Nesta B's also looming, looking for a way through. But that Berkshire, once again, just going to be able to hold it down. You can see the... I'm looking for the arrow that's not incendiary. That's my favorite guy right there. Because we're not going to get to have him around for much longer. It looks like the palace guards are still just causing havoc up here. I feel like the best way to deal with this are lancers. Because if you don't have lancers or horsemen, it's just going to escape you. And you don't want that. Battering ram working its magic down on the south side. Men-at-Arms going to make a little bit of a run for it. Keep in mind, we've got the Yuan dynasty in place, so these crossbows will be able to keep up with these men-at-arms. You could potentially even look to bring a couple of them back this way, or get a couple of them to attack the crossbows to try and delay, because at the end of the day, you just want to try and keep them as far away from your opponent as you can while you go and annoy them in the economy. Meanwhile, speaking of annoying in the economy, we do see that it looks like the last of those palace guards have been cleaned up. He's got a pretty decent wall that's gone through here, but I would love to see stone walls. And have a look at this. Louis MT just going to be putting down the battering ram on that position. Meanwhile, towards the front, Springald's just firing off at the units, trying to bring them forward. The Bombard's going to have a little bit of a shot. And now into the heartland, the farmland of B. Right now, Louis looks to try and take apart this economy. Keep in mind, the villager advantage is still not that significant. Now, we've got Tithe Barns that has come through, so it means slightly more income coming through on each of these relics. Keep in mind, you don't get any of that good stone. It's mainly food and wood that you get now, which is always welcome, right? At the end of the day, you know, extra resources are extra resources. But he is dropping pagodas. I'm so thankful that he's going to do this, because I was going to say, ideally, we want to be moving these into pagodas. They don't get Tithe Barns in the pagodas, but they do get just more resources. They get a little bit of extra gold as well. Men-at-Arms slowly and steadily getting chased down. You can see it's only going to be a matter of time until they all get taken out here. But the upgrades are through. So we've seen that, I can't remember what the name of it is, but it gives you that percentage bonus. So he's going to pick up an extra 12% gather rate bonus across the board here. In fact, I think it might be 16, because technically he's been in the Tang dynasty as well. I like that he's thrown down the campfire. Why not? An attack on that north side. He's going to look to try and challenge this gold, potentially. Keep in mind, when it gets to the late game, it's all just about securing gold, denying gold, that sort of thing. And the advantage is really going to be here with B, because not only does he have the relics, but he's also got the Imperial officials picking up the tax. So if there's trash units that are getting made, you're basically going to be making 8 gold every time you make a trash unit. Outpost with the cannon in placement. Villagers, he's going to sacrifice for it. Villager count has really started to drop here, but the cannon in placement should be enough to hold this as long as he can keep it alive. He's also looking to fortify the outpost. Meanwhile, towards the center, battering ram is going to start coming up. More units moving, making their way towards the north side. It's going to be palace guards together with the hand cannoneers as the double outpost with the emplacements are back behind here. He might need to think about going into a bombard to deal with this, because these are going to start firing at the villagers on the gold vein. He's got 5.5k gold in here, and he really wants to keep this alive, really wants to make sure that this gold stays in his possession. He cannot lose this gold. It is so important that he keeps this gold, because when it comes to the late game, it's all about being able to make those really nice, expensive units. Now, a counter wall's going to come up here for Louis in the center. More upgrades on the way through. Mangonel crossbar is going to be coming in. We also see siege works on the way. Louis looking to push through. Oh, it's the alien reproduction technology. Watch out, alien vehicle. Fly away. I've read the reports. You can fly at 22,000 kilometers an hour. I think it's something like that. It's ridiculous. They go crazy. But unfortunately, it's not happening. And fortunately, we're not going to watch as it dies, because, well, then we'd have evidence. And well, you don't want evidence. Keep now. Gonna get thrown up. He's still got the gold in the back of the base. Look at this. This is what it comes down to. Stuff like this. The fact that B has left his gold in the back of the base until the very last stage of the game is just exactly what it takes. That kind of self-control to win these sorts of games, because it comes down to that final gold. You might not think it does, but remember, if you can't afford Springwoods and your opponent can, you're going to be in a dilly of a pickle. We'll say that much. Once again, the meta-arms trying to get a little bit of a raid through, but we are seeing the reason why the Palace Guard is the superior raiding unit as Louis MT throws away these meta-arms into the back of the base. But keep in mind, this is but a distraction now. At this stage of the game, this is a distraction. He's working his magic in other areas. What is he doing? He's finding other possibilities. That's got to be the case, surely. Cannon in placement, still firing off towards these positions. It doesn't look like he was actually... Okay, all right, he's gone for a remass, more men-at-arms coming through. He's brought back a lot of units towards this position. I thought he would have been working his magic somewhere else. I guess you could probably try battering rams over here as well, but if you do battering rams over here, you're just going to get caught out by villagers, so you definitely need to bring units if you want to do that. But speaking of battering rams, the Nest of B is going to be looking to take them out. I suspect they've picked up that extra little attack. Indeed, they have not. What? How have you not got that one yet? Meanwhile, down towards this south side, we can see B is going to be losing out on this Imperial Palace. Keep in mind, it provides really good vision of exactly where Louis is thinking about moving. The keep's going to get denied. Oh, it gets... Oh, he cancelled it. He cancelled it. I thought it was completely denied, which would have been terrible for him, losing 900 resources. Not going to be the case. Mangonel's now starting to move in off the top rope. Mangonel's going to be able to find the nest of bees, not able to find that infantry mass. Second shots come through. He takes them both out. The superior siege engine, no longer the trebuchet. Definitely not the Nest of B. Baby, it's the Mangonel. We wrote songs about it, and you know it's the truth. Oh, my lord. He is looking to push through here. The keep in the center of the stone walls. No longer will you be coming up, sir. Can't look to try and get a stone wall around. He's got the landmark blocking it. Hand cannoneers on the backside, throwing it down slowly as these melee units get caught up, fighting up against the palace guards. The next wave comes through. It's going to be a couple of battering rams. Mangonel also joining the fray. Bombards here, looking to force back any of these buildings today. Villagers now going to be focused on this gold. And you can see Louis, he spots the gold, and like a vampire, he's just... You've turned him on. You've enabled him. You've gone, give me the gold, baby. Give me the gold. That's exactly what he wants. Men-at-arms together with these horsemen now. Keep in mind, this is the perfect English combination. You've got two units that are very high food cost. So it means that you can put lots of farms down, don't cost a lot of gold, don't cost a lot of wood, and it allows you to really get a nice combo going. Mangonel from the back, trying to find a shot off, not doing too much work there. Palace Guard's going to get a little bit of healing. Keep in mind the Fire Lance is now mixed in for that extra healing. Mango firing off towards that center of mass. Horsemen around the backside here, slowly and steadily working their way through those reinforcements. And it's only a matter of time until things start to look worse here. 4B, he's going to have to hold on for dear life. Horsemen now making their way towards those Palace Guard, or towards those hand cannoneers rather. Bombard might get caught out of position. He's ignored the hand cannon. He's going to focus the Bombard instead, realizes how important it is. Villagers pushing up with outposts. Second Mangonel joins the picture. Battering ram still here, and somehow, some way, he has held on. B has just taken one of the most insane defenses here. I have got no idea how he did that. That was looking absolutely ludicrous from Louis. But somehow, B manages to keep it together, manages to hold, And look at the stockpile. Look at the stockpile. Less than 4,000 resources in the... Less than 4,300 resources in the bank here. It is Louis, who now is going to be on the defensive. He was holding for so long. Early game. Until he got Imperial, nobody knew his name. He didn't take off the mask until he was Imperial Age. But now, unfortunately, it looks like B is going to be putting that mask back on him and telling him to sit down, shut up, because now China is online. The bombards are out. The fire lancers are here. Their hand cannoneers on the back. This is the gunpowder combination that is so damn feared by everybody who plays Age of Empires. When the Chinese get to the late game, this is when it gets scary. So much work to get to this point. And now Louis, he's going to have to go up against some of the hardest hitting bombards there are. Extra health. Remember, these guys are clock tower as well. They fire faster because of their reload speeds. More DPS than any other bombard. Maybe with the exception of the Rus bombard. Or maybe the unique bombard from the French. But the hand cannoneers on top should be able to block it out. Springwood's going to come in here. Men-at-Arms teeing off at the front. He's down to 149 population. B's at 182. Continuing to pump. It's going to be Fire Lancers, Palace Guards, and Hand Cannoneers on the back. The dream combination coming out for B now as he begins to push down. If the Berkshire falls, then Louis MT falls. Do not let the Berkshire fall. And now Louis, he's going to have a big problem. How does he hold this front line? Keep in mind, gold, he has lost access to it. Gold in the north, there's no chance he's got it. Still got 5k on it, but with these outposts towards his top side, there's no way he is getting through here. It is not going to be his. And with that, it means that Louis will begin to slow to a crawl with regard to his gold. The only thing he's got coming in now is enclosures. The one technology that the English consider their most important. If there's one technology you wouldn't want to give up in the late game as the English, it is enclosures. And I tell you what, if I was building a civilization, if someone said, hey, Drongo, you can build a civilization, what Imperial Age tech do you want? I'd be like, I want enclosures. That sounds good. All right, well. Jeez Louise, that was a tough fight. But Louis, I mean, he's held on for the moment. The only thing I've got worries about is the fact that he doesn't have the Berkshire online. Did he never pick up the emplacements on the Berkshire? That's a massive oversight because all the weapons have that 15 tiles of range. So everything's got that. I feel like that could be a huge mistake not to pick that up. But now pushing through. The bombards on the back, teeing off towards all of that production. More men-at-arms running in. Hand cannon is finally coming out for Louis as well. Keep in mind, he's got that bonus attack speed that is propagating out here. These guys do technically, if they get close enough to the Chinese hand cannons, win. But remember that you're going to be able to kite. Now a keep is going to get thrown down for B. How can you afford a keep in this economy right now, B? I've got no idea where he pulled the stone from for this, but keep in mind, there's still plenty of stone out on this map. Somehow, these two players have exhausted pretty much everything else, but they've left the stone. I guess stone's just not as cool as it once used to be. Hand cannoneers pushing in. You can see the amount of power that these guys have got, able to take out the English hand cannoneers before the English hand cannoneers can even return fire. Bombards continue to move forward. He's got 3 of them that have just sat around for quite a while. With the keep now coming up online, it's going to deny out a little bit of the wood, but most importantly, it's going to deny out all of this position here. And it's going to just serve as that reinforcement blocker. And now towards the top side, look at this. B is going to be contesting the gold. He's looking to focus down the keep. The boiling oil is through and the game gets called. That's going to be it. B somehow manages to hold and somehow manages to find a victory. Ladies and gentlemen, these games have been absolutely amazing. If you've been enjoying this, make sure you check out EGC TV tonight, 15 GMT. Be there or be square.